Okay, so all of you may notice that we have different organizations here, state, city, and county. So there's lots of job opportunities, and we're going to talk a little bit about some of the opportunities and what the differences are between public sector, private sector, and what the benefits may look like in terms of public sector, private sector, and then also what career opportunities might be available. So we'll start with the second question. What is the difference between working in public sector and private sector in terms of positions? Anyone want to take that on?
I'd say we probably, when we start looking at the, oh yes. Now I get shy. For me, the difference being is that we have a heck of a lot, we have different positions. We have, how many job classes think we have now?
Just say hundreds.
200 or 300 job classes.
Yeah. Right.
And unlike the private sector, which may have a limited number, we have that many. It goes anywhere from being a janitor to being a physician at Western State Hospital. So there's just a large number of different jobs, different requirements. And of course there's the benefits that we get versus what you get in the private side. We have state retirement program, medical programs, all things like that. So I think that's the biggest difference. I was going to say what I consider a major difference is we have to respond to the citizens of Washington State. They hold us accountable. Private sector, normally the investors hold them accountable.
Profit.
So it's profit driven. So that's about the biggest difference that I see. Okay.
Well, that's a good point, Tom. The biggest difference from a job seeker standpoint is we do have over 250 classifications, job classifications, but the biggest difference between private and public, we have just like answerable to the public, we have a huge amount of transparency in the process. So therefore, that being said, we have civil service rules we have to go by when we go through resumes and applications, and we have to make sure that we're, screening everybody on a same playing field, giving everybody an equal opportunity, while at the same time doing it in a window, transparency kind of environment. So that would be the biggest, for me, the biggest trait or attribute for the job seeker.
I guess I'll chime in. My two colleagues here kind of covered it, but I guess I would talk more about the rules that kind of surround the positions. For example, in government, one of the things that happens is that your position is covered generally through the Washington Administrative Code for the state of Washington, and so there, as Lonnie was saying, there are rules that we have to abide by. Now, not to say that in the private sector they don't have rules. However, when it comes to, say, downsizing, for example, layoff is a great example. You know, we have certain procedures if you are in a classified position that we have to go through. In the private sector, on the other hand, generally there are no layoff rules unless they are unionized. So I want to throw that out there for Boeing, for example, right? But that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I'll add to that as well. I think one of the things is regarding service to the citizens is very important, because I work for an administrator. That administrator works for the mayor, and the mayor's elected. So they're really, the focus is on the citizens, and that's who we're responding to. The other thing on a applicant standpoint is the benefit is that all of our position salaries are posted, so you can know what you're going to be getting into, what the starting salary might be. I think beginning salaries are very competitive with the private sector, and as well as the benefits as far as retirement and medical benefits.
And I'm going to share my difference. The panelists have described it very well, the difference between private and public. I'll speak a little bit toward the employees who work for King County, and I'm sure it's whether you work for a city or a government, there is a willingness to serve. I think people know, or they hear our benefits are incredibly wonderful in the government sector. Our pay is very competitive. When I say our pay is competitive, I don't think you're going to get rich. You're not going to get a bonus at the end of the year if the company does better. But I will say your coworkers, it's a wonderful group. They're there to serve the public, whatever, you may call it a department, sometimes a government, we call it an agency. They're there, for that agency and to serve the public. In the end, it's serving the residents, whether you're in the city, the government, the city, the county, or the big state government. You're truly there to serve.
And to reinforce that, we're all here on this we're all here as volunteers, and we all came from long distances to speak to you just out of again for service. So and again, to me, the biggest difference for the biggest difference between public and private is that transparency. So everything for you, everything that you need to compete for that position is in that job announcement.